I mean, 90 years old, really. I'm not going to be long-winded. I'm just going to do a little intro here, and then we're going to hand this mic off to folks that have a lot of great stories that can stitch this storied man's career and life together and tell us parts that we missed. The Piersons, let me tell you who I am. I'm Ace Carlson. I'm Sandy's cousin. Tonight they wanted to get a guy that was knew the family, knew some stories, would be respectful, and stay within the program. He didn't make it. No, he didn't make it. So I'm going to do the best I can. I've got a little history in that I'm going to run through and try to give you a little background on. I'm not sure what happened, but that's when he told his mother that when he grew up he wanted to be a fighter pilot, and she informed him, you can't do both. So in 1955 or so, they had a program called the Aviation Cadets, which some of you folks may or may not know of, but that's before we started the formal pilot training. And these were people, you had to qualify, you had to be between 19 and 25 years of age, you had to be at least 2 years of, no college at that time, but you had to have a high school education, and you had to be honest. 2 out of 3 isn't bad, right, Bob? So he went in 55 and he became an aviation cadet, and he graduated. If you graduated in the top of your class, you weren't a warrant officer. You got to put on the lieutenant's brown bar, the butter bar, which Tony did, of course. He's excelled in everything. Zone, your class of 90 is getting smaller though, boss. So he graduated from that, and off he went to, he ended up back here in Arizona, and he got to fly in the F-86, which was, at that point in time was the U.S. Air Force's first swept wing fighter, and it was the top of the line, a great jet. So he's here at Willie, and he's flying, and I haven't gotten the whole story on this, but it was about that time that he met his wife, Sandy. Now the story I heard was that, and Sandy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure you will, was this young fighter pilot, lieutenant, sitting at the bar one day, and in comes this nice looking lady, sits down next to him, and he's sitting there looking at his big watch, as fighter pilots would do, and he keeps looking at it. Pretty soon she leans over and said, I'm sorry to bother you, but you know, I noticed you keep looking at your watch. She said, is there something I don't know? He said, really, what does it do? And he said, well, it gives me my orientation. It keeps me spatially oriented, so I have awareness. And she said, give me an example. And said, well, I know what's happening within about 30 feet of me. For instance, you're not wearing any underpants. And Sandy said, that's not true. And he said, damn it, it's running an hour fast. So that's it, right? All right. Yeah. So that was in 57. Now do the math. They've been married 67 years. Sandy's 84, 17 years old. Wow. My Uncle Chuck, I think, had to give you approval, did he not, for you to get married? Yeah. And then he took off and headed for Korea in the F-86, spent a year over there and came back to Willie. That's true. I'm going to backtrack 1 second for 1934 because there's a few things I wanted to point out that people really didn't understand what was going on back then. That was when FDR was the president, and he had 4 terms. Started in 33 and went to 45, which is kind of unusual. Anybody want to guess what the Academy Award Picture of the Year was? Sandy, you must know this one. It Happened One Night. Yeah, Katharine Hepburn and Clark Gable won the Academy Awards. Notables born that year, besides Tony, were Bart Starr, Gene Cernan, who was the 11th man to walk on the moon, Pat Boone, Alan Arkin. He's the guy, the first guy to say, Russians are coming, Russians are coming. Let's see, Wiley Post. Does anybody know who Wiley Post was? No, you guys are too young for that. So he's a guy that went up in a pressure suit. A hell of a guy. The first female to fly an airmail transport airplane was Helen Ritchie. Now here's one I didn't know, boss. You know who else was born then? Was Schwarzkopf, the bear. It did in 1934. He hated the Air Force, but that's another story. He was the guy that led us through the 91 Desert Storm. Okay, let's see, a couple other things. That first Masters tournament was in 1934. A guy named Horton Smith won it, and the prize was $1,500. The first appearance of Donald Duck, the first appearance of Flash Gordon, and they started a holiday. It was Mother-in-Law's Day. And out there, Terry Isaacson somewhere, Pele. Bill, where are you? Bill flew the back seat with Tony over at Ubon. We'll get to that. So they know what's coming. I didn't know exactly what audience I had, but as I was saying, I was raised in a military family, so with a sense of decorum. Unfortunately, my folks made bad choices in babysitters. Sandy was one of them. So if we get off the rail tonight, we'll just pin it on her. Okay, fasten your seatbelts, here we go. I'm going to preface this by telling you that there's two kinds of stories. There's a fairy tale and there's a fighter pilot story. And a fairy tale always starts out once upon a time. But a fighter pilot story starts out, this is no shit. Sorry, kids.
Tony's flying for all that time. And as an Air Force tradition, we have not done the proper thing, so I'm going to correct that. So there is an Air Force tradition to welcome the new guy, and we have a new 90-year-old in the group. So let's say hello to the new guy. Hello! So, I mean, this is really kind of special for me because my first assignment in the Air Force as a first lieutenant was at Ubon. And right out of the gate, I had the best assignment I ever had. And flying Wolves was just the best job in Southeast Asia at that time. And I was fortunate to fly with a lot of great guys. One of them was Tony. And that's what this is.
No.
That's what this is all about. Because there is nothing like a relationship of people that are in combat together, whether it's Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marines, or whatever. And so, Tony, I'm privileged to call you a brother. And the reason I get emotional because it is, and I'm standing there and we're right back 50 years ago at Ubon. And I can feel it, I can sense it, I can enjoy it. And, oh, by the way, had you chosen your birthday a day later, you and I would celebrate the same birthday. So, thank you for coming. Thank you so much, and I would not have missed this for the world. And anyway, it's a special thing, and I hope you all see the picture up here. This is me. I got a picture about this big on the wall. That's okay. But since I came all the way from Tennessee, I do expect you to come to my 90th birthday party. I love Tony and Sandy. We've known them since '69. We haven't been together a lot that time. As a matter of fact, I've never had an assignment with them. I should have realized that while we were just Joe Bag of Donuts as lieutenants and captains, the Wolf fact, Papa Wolf, was somebody. I didn't figure that out till I was at PACAF as a major, and I'm looking at the generals list, and I see Richard A. Pierson. I said, I know that guy. What the hell is he doing on that list? I actually called him up. I said, hey, asshole, how did you make general? And he said, I have no idea. You remember that call? But that's the kind of thing you can do with friends and with combat buddies, and it's just all good stuff. So to finish, I'd like to tell you a story. I tell this at every time I give a little presentation to something. You will love it. and you'll remember it. There were two people standing in front of St. Peter, taken into heaven. First gentleman stepped up, told St. Peter he was a pilot for 35 years. St. Peter looked him up and said, "Yep, here you are." He gave him a gold staff, silk robe and a gold staff. "Come on in." He goes on in. Second gentleman steps up and says, gives him his name and says, "I've been a preacher for 42 years. "Yep, here you are." Gives him a cloth robe and a wooden staff. And while grateful to get in, the preacher said, "How come the pilot got the better stuff?" St. Peter says, "Well, up here we base everything on results. When you preached, people slept. When he flew, people prayed."
There's Ace. But anyway, thank you very much. It's an honor that Sandy and Tony and Becky and Rebecca and Rocky and Lisa, Dusty all give me the honor of saying a few words. Tony and I have spent a few years together and a few nights and other kinds of things, but you know, and you can see the pictures and stuff. Very handsome guy, and he had that bar on the shoulder, and he had a fancy hot rod car, and he had some Air Force money in his pocket. So some of the guys that were well, first of all, he steals a good-looking gal out of our high school. You know, that was another thing that started it off. And but some of the guys that were in town were pretty hot stuff, and but they didn't hold a candle to Tony. Roy Dussey, Pudgy Moore, Tony Gaddis, Eddie Beck, and you know, so that was tough sledding with this guy. But I told him then that he was an SOB, and he still is. But many years went by, very unnecessary event. Almost as unneeded as Trump's rallies. I figured as much, but I know I can take it. But anyway, it's better because he's a better human being, this general is. And so, but anyway, some of the things that Ace might have skipped on just a little bit was, you know, in Chandler, where I was raised, I was a lonely little sophomore getting out of school, and then Sandy was.
Oh Lord, it's hard to be FOMO, but doing the best that he can. Where are we? He's up to the table, saying I haven't tried one of these. With a toothpick he stabbed another meatball. Then he choked on a big chunk of cheese. And the dip he dipped, but I'll tell you too. He is a hungry dude. And as he snaps up the last chicken leg, he yells, "Happy, we need some more food." Finally, it was over on April 23rd, and at Zach's public weigh-in, both laughing and crying were heard. His grin turned into groans. Now he was fit as a fiddle could be, and I was scared. He was fit as a fiddle could be, but I was scared.
There's a little known fact about my dad. He holds a Guinness Book of World Record. And I know as a kid, I remember reading the Guinness Book of World Record. You know, there's like, who can eat the most bubble gum? Maybe I could do that one. No, never did that one. My dad is the Major General, holds the record for eating raw eggs in the shell. Okay? And what's the deal? You shot at Jeremiah? And,
Yeah, leg, little
And an egg?
Yeah. You don't
but
have to
in the
get
shell. So, Dad, on your 90th, we don't want you to do the 12 that you did, but we're only gonna ask for 9. Just 9, Dad.
Scrambled
So, but, well, the staff.
Yeah, but because Rebecca said, you better be at the place by 5:20. When he picked me up, he said, I forgot the damn eggs. I said, well, I got the Jeremiah. I said, your dad's going to be real happy that you forgot those eggs. Rebecca, anybody else? Are you the closer?
No, I'm not the closer.
Okay, so we got to get Sandy home, so.
There's one gentleman I have to wait for to come in the room. Before I get started on my little piece, I want to take a moment and beyond supportive. To put his level in support in perspective, all of these pictures, coffee mugs, and statues have adorned our home for over 30 days. And yes, the mannequins have been in attention just as long. Thank you, Fred, for your love and your kindness through this. Your sense of humor has never been so needed or so appreciated. I swear, I saw Fred saluting one of those mannequins the other day, walking down the hallway to his office. I kid you not, he was staring. As we gather here to celebrate Dad's 90th birthday, I can't help but feel incredibly fortunate to be surrounded by so much love and shared history in this room. Being part of planning this special day has given me a chance to reflect on the remarkable life we've shared as a family and the many memories that have shaped us. I have held on to at least one memory for years, one that has followed me from home to home, all of life's moves. In fact, I framed this memory a few years ago, and it hangs proudly in my office at our house. Dad, it's a letter you wrote to me while you were in Vietnam and I was in 2nd grade. The rest of the letters was a reply that I had written to you when I was 7 years old, complete with my careful early cursive handwriting. Dear Daddy, 5 + 7 = 12. Yes, I have ridden the new pony. And the chickens, they're not laying eggs, we think they're all boys. The 2 letters, yours and mine, pieces of our past, are reminders of the bonds we've always shared as a family, even during the times when you were far away serving our country. These letters, those you wrote to me, to Rocky, to Lisa, to Dusty, and to Mom, are a small reflection of the incredible life you have lived and the way you've always stayed connected to all of us. Dad, you've given us so much over the years, your love, your wisdom, your strength. And the bundle of letters are just one more reminder of how much you mean to all of us. So today, as we celebrate your birthday, I thank you on behalf of Rocky, Dusty, Lisa, and Mom for absolutely everything. For the letters, the lessons, and the love, happy birthday.
Oh, that's it. But that.
Do you need the walker? Gosh, I don't even know.
Wait a minute, here's the green yarn. I don't have a ponytail.
Okay, guys.
Dino Ride's gonna be here in 20 minutes.
First of all, some of you know I'm not gonna get through this without this. How many of you know I was born in Jerome?
Here's where it starts.
That's a good way to start.
Get a drink.
A long
And by
night.
the way, this is so damn impromptu, and I am so embarrassed, but anyway. Okay, so now, the next thing is, how many
Oh,
things
your
I'm gonna get
speaker on.
through this? What?
Speaker.
Thank you. I'm not used to public speaking, obviously. How many do you think I'm gonna get through this without choking on? Okay, that's great. So, what I'd like to do first of all is tell you that, well, tell you I love my husband, but tell you that Becky has been the producer, the director, and the leader on this whole show. We've had all of us. I think all of you think it's incredible. There's been so much family help that you can't even believe it. It's so wonderful.
I did not hang this wall, the
Pardon me?
other kid, the other kid.
Everybody has had such a hand, and thank you, sweetheart. Thanks, everybody. The other person, thank you, honey. My husband's giving me directions, sorry. The other thing that I have to do is thank you, sweetheart, for 60, how many years? But more importantly, this fantastic family that we have here, all over this room. Here, how's that? You've given me this family, and guys, you're maybe you're the oldest, the whatever. Anyway, I love you all. I don't know where to stop or start. But anyway, I love all of you. Thank you so much for coming and being such a wonderful part of Tony's celebration and life through the years. I mean, you guys you mean so much. And some of you have been here for so long. Oh, and by the way, the other thing is, how the hell did I get this obnoxious, this obnoxious cousin? So, thank you guys.
Great show.
Were absolutely outstanding.
None of which people up there talk are true. I didn't do any of the things that they alluded to. And Sandy captured me, I did not capture Sandy. Thanks everybody for coming. That's not what's written on the wall. Yeah. What a great evening, and thanks for coming out.
And the bar's still open.
Here, here.
And the bar's still open.
We'll have another at 95 and hopefully 100.
And the bar's still open.